Hi everyone, my name is Ricardo Di Melomatos and I thank you for joining my presentation today. I chose the 2018 Anchorage, Alaska earthquake as my project because being from Brazil, I wanted to choose a type of weather completely different what I'm used to and natural disasters, which we don't have, thank God, in Brazil. But was really cool to study that. And I hope someday I have a chance to visit Anchorage and nearby Denali National Park. So I'm going to start like with the most you know strong idea that that caught my attention too, that Alaska is the most seismically has the most seismically is the most seismically active region of the United States. Uh, and since the 1900s, the state has experienced one magnitude 7 to 8 quake every year, and a 6 magnitude 6 to 7 times annually, according to the Alaska Seismic Hazard Safety Commission. This is because the southern edge of the state comprises 2,500 miles of the Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire, where ongoing subduction gives rise to arcs of the active volcanoes and the largest earthquakes in the world. So if you were to count the smallest of the quakes on the quakes, the state would register more than 1,000 quakes a month. That's pretty big. So in 1964, southern Alaska experienced the most powerful earthquake known to hit North America, a 9.2 quake with the epicenter about 75 miles east of Anchorage. And 54 years later, the Anchorage area would again be the scene of the powerful historic earthquake. But the question is, what happened, right? Uh, on Friday morning, November 30, 2018, an earthquake measuring 7.0 on the Richter scale struck just before 8:30 a.m. local time. The epicenter was found to be about 7.5 miles north of Anchorage in Point Mackenzie, Alaska. It was followed by hundreds of aftershocks, the first of which, a 5.0 magnitude, struck just 5 minutes after the initial quake, sending those who had to return homes and business back into the streets in terror. A tsunami warning was temporarily issued for the coastal regions of Cook Inlet and southern Kenai Peninsula. The earthquake powerfully shook Anchorage, the most populous city in Alaska, which at the time had a population of 291,000 people. Business and school shuttered for the day, added traffic jams that quickly developed across the city. Alaska Governor Bill Walker issued a declaration of disaster and immediately contacted the federal government in Washington. So some of the white witness, I want to start first with Bartlett. He said that he said, quoting Bartley, I've been here 11 years and I've felt movers before this one, and I felt movers before this one, but this one scared me. Uh, and he's a Anchorage resident. And he told the reporter Nat Hertz of Alaska Public Media that that's the quickest I ever seen one come and the hardest I ever felt seeing it shake. The transformers were blowing up. I felt like a minute we might watch the ground open up. That's very intensive. Local infrastructure damage include local road buckling in the section of the main access road to Anchorage International Airport, which is stranded a car on the island asphalt. Chris Rakina, a motorist behind the stranded car, saw it all happen. He said, I started to feel my car not driving properly, so I thought I had a flat, he told hers. So I pulled it over and then started to see everything swallowing. and the lights flashing and stopped. And then I watched the car in front of me, in front of us, start to sink as the road pushed out to the left. It happened slowly, he said, not abruptly. As far as he could tell, the driver of the vehicle, after discussing the situation with police, left his stranded left his stranded car behind and continued to the airport. While some ramps to the airport itself were closed, the terminal remained open, although the Federal Aviation Administration reported it had issued a 4-hour ground stop. Now I'm going to talk about the tectonic settings. The earthquake was caused by a rupture in the Alaska Aleutian subduction zone, where the Pacific plate is moving towards the northwest with respect to the North American plate at about 57 millimeters a year, subducting beneath Alaska. It occurred at a depth of 47 kilometers or 25 miles on a fault within the subducting Pacific slab rather than the shallower boundary between the Pacific and North American plates. The resulting slippage caused shaking that lasted for 30 seconds. Now, the geological settings. Overall, Anchorage soil is prepared with a post-glacial deposition of trained sedimentary rock, clays, soft organic soils, and increasing melting permafrost, which is itself a combination of grave soil and sand bound together with ice, leaving the city particularly vulnerable to liquefaction concerns. Damage from the quake was most visibly on roads and bridges, was most noticeable on roads and bridges built over saturated lowlands filled with organic sediment, silt, or sand. And now we're going to go to the aftermath. Point Arena Tide Gauge at Arena recorded a small tsunami several hours after the quake. Typical, since 80% of the world's tsunamis occur in the Pacific along its ring of fire subduction zones. The shaking intensity of this event was smaller than the great of 1964 earthquake, limiting ground failure liquefaction models, suggesting potential impacts in localized areas throughout Anchorage and the Matanuska Valley. Liquefaction hazards were also noted in low-lying areas of wet sediments elsewhere, though sparse human population limited infrastructure impacts. Furthermore, living in Alaska poses additional significant, sometimes unique complications. Many earthquake prone regions of Alaska already exist with limited connectivity and rugged topography with poor or no road access. Extreme cold and short daylight hours during Alaska winters may severely hamper or impede post event response and rescue. For these reasons, it's more important than ever that every Alaskan citizen prepare for the next earthquake. Thank you.